Those are really good. You want one? Welcome to the Midlife Ride. If this is your first time here, there are a few things you should know. Number one, we love the Vegas Golden Knights. Number two, we love Las Vegas. And number three, we love to eat. And today, that's what we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to eat. We like to make things on our Traeger Pellet Grill. And today, because Meyer had buy one get one free baby back ribs, that's what we're doing today. So we're going to show you how we do that. You know, some of your guests who you have over to eat your ribs might smile to your face and tell you that they are delicious when they're sitting there gnawing the meat off the bone, but I have the perfect recipe to make them fall off the bone and still make them delicious. So once you have your ribs, and we have 2 packages of baby back ribs today. Spare ribs are delicious, but baby back ribs they're so much leaner than spare ribs, and that's one of the reasons why we love them, is because of how meaty they are. But we have our 2 rib racks here in their packages. One of the great things about back ribs is that there's not a lot of prep. With spare ribs, there's quite a bit of trimming that you really need to do before you start cooking them. But really, the biggest thing I do, or the most important thing I do in preparation, is just to pat these dry. Like, there's not a lot of trimming you need to do to the back ribs. I can already see a couple of spots where we will do a little bit. I already see this piece right here. Like, I'm going to trim that off for sure, because that's just scraps. Everything else looks pretty good right now. Now, the question right now is, do we take off the membrane or do we not? Now, if you're just doing a couple of racks of ribs, I say go ahead and pull off the membrane, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, the membrane falls on the rib side of the racks, and you just take a butter knife and work it kind of right there and get it started away from the bones themselves. And one thing that really helps here, and I'll grab one just to show you, because the membrane is really slick, but once you get that started, if you can get it to come off in one piece, just kind of like that, you're in pretty good shape. And there we go. Now the other thing, because the membranes are really slippery, you can use some paper towels that help you grab onto that membrane and just pull it right off there. And then once you have the membrane off, then we start with the seasoning. And what I like to use is just a light coating of olive oil. And this doesn't really add any flavor. What it does is it gives something for the rub to stick to. And just a really light coating, rub that all over the rib side. And then what we like to use, you can use pretty much anything you like, but we like the Montreal steak seasoning. Adds a really nice flavor to these ribs. You just want to give that a nice sprinkle, even though you're not going to eat this side of the ribs. You still want to rub it with this seasoning. And if you are a fan of spice, you can also add a light coating of chili powder to your rub. And I would keep it really light. A little goes a long way in this case, especially with something as lean as back ribs. And now you flip them over to the meat side. And another really light coating of your olive oil. Spread that around on both racks. And then we get another layer of our Montreal steak seasoning on the top or on the meat layer. And be prepared to clean your floor after this, because this stuff goes everywhere. And that's a rub. And then going to add another layer, really light layer of the chili powder onto this side too. And there we go. We are ready to put these on the grill. Our grill is up to temperature, which is 275 for the duration of this cook. And we are using oak pellets, by the way. We're going to cook them meat side up, and then we'll go check them after about 60 minutes, see how they look, and we'll probably spritz them at that point with a combination of apple cider vinegar and water. We are 1 hour into our baby back ribs, and what we're doing right now is checking on them, because if you're looking, you ain't cooking. But we want to spritz them really quick with a combination of apple cider vinegar and water, so we'll do that right now. As you can see, those look really good. At this point, we just want to make sure they stay moist. We are going to leave those on for about another 45 minutes, and then we'll come back out, spread a little barbecue sauce on them, and spritz them again, and then we'll go from there. It has been about 45 minutes since we spritzed the ribs, and now we're going to sauce them. So let's take a look. Those look really good. And now you just use the sauce of your choice. We like to use a sugar-free sauce with ours because sugar-free is kind of healthier. And you know, when you get to be kind of middle-aged. And also it's pretty delicious. So we're going to put a nice layer of the sauce just on the top part of the ribs. We're not going to switch, or we're not going to flip them yet. We have a nice layer of sauce on the meat part of our ribs, and we're going to spritz them again with our apple cider vinegar and water. Close the lid, and we're going to let those set for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back out and wrap those in foil for the remainder of the cook. Right, so at this point we are like 2 hours total into our cook, and now we're going to sauce and spritz the ribs again and wrap them in foil for the remainder of the cook, which will be about 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. We'll go by feel on that part. Okay, we are sauced, sprayed, and wrapped. So about another hour and a half to maybe 2 hours, and these ribs will be fall off the bone. Just wait and see. I'm going to take these off the grill now and let them rest for about half an hour and see how they are. Back ribs, you really don't have to wait half an hour. You can wait maybe 10-15 minutes to let them rest, but just make sure you let them rest a little bit. So once you bring them back out inside, we can now unwrap them and see what we have. I can tell you one thing. They certainly smell delicious, and they look pretty good too. And remember how I told you they would be fall off the bone? These are as promised. Fall off the bone, and your guests will love these, and they won't have to lie to your face about how good they are. I promise. Those are really good. You want one? So be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends and family. I know I have something in my teeth. Full transparency. And hit the little notification bell so that you know every time we release a new video. And hey, I'm not going to apologize for eating on camera, but we'll see you on the next episode of the Midlife Ride.